Welcome back, everyone, to the eighth and final episode of Iron Blood Dwarves, a Fear the Boot actual play. Please pardon our little hiatus we've been on. We've had a lot of real life stuff going on, much of the podcast community knows about, and some that folks don't. But at any rate, we are back on track here to wrap this up before the spiky rocks of the Christmas and New Year's seasons kill campaigns as they always do. And then we'll be moving on to our next project, which we will inform you about as soon as we have final details firmed up. At any rate, we return now to our adventurers who have gotten back to Dwarfheim and are plotting their return to Ironblood Hold. Who the heck did I give Beethoven to last time we were here?
Not me.
Does anybody remember?
Virulent. Also, John, your camera's locked if you want to refresh at some point.
Oh, is it really? Okay.
No, it's working for me.
Try hitting reconnect.
It might be on your end, Dan.
Was it Bran?
I don't think it was me that had it. I remember I did. I had it once, and I spent it, and it was a long time ago when that orc tried to throw the javelin in my eye.
Oh yeah, I remember that. All right. Well, if we can't remember who it was, Bran, it's yours.
Oh, well, thank
we
you.
clearly can't. All right, Bran, would you please summarize the end of the Undermountain adventure that we had a month ago when we last played?
Good luck.
Well,
Good beer.
If you can't, you can definitely call for assistance on this one because
there was
they
a giant hole in the ground, and there were many ventures to be had in said hole. And we were slowly filling it up with the flood waters of a mighty trickling flood. I remember there were some passages and some doors. And oh man, that was a month ago, wasn't it? Wow.
Yeah.
There was a shadow monster.
Yeah. So
The shadow monster. That's right.
There was like a mirrory black hallway that kind of looked like obsidian, though John said it wasn't obsidian. And as we walked through it, we caught illusions or projections or something of other dwarves and of a gnome. And at the end of it, we fought something that was distinctly a demonic creature, though not the one we're after. And we beat it like it owed us money, because it did. And we got paid, and then we left there. Actually, I don't think we got paid. I just made that up. And then we left there on a route back to the surface, and found the guy that we had,
We lost
Grodin, I believe was his name, that we had done some things to, including, well, he had actually chosen to draw from a deck of many things and got an alignment flip.
Ah, yes, Grodin.
And so he's now decided that it is his responsibility to set free all of his slaves and to help us deal with Thrakgash, which is the demon that's in our original hold.
That's right. He sent a
Gabir.
or a emissary or something, right?
That's correct. He is not himself person, but his envoy came in and basically said that he owes you a service, and he left it completely open-ended. And you guys went to King Urist and said, well, no, the Viceroy King, and said, well, what do you think you should do? And he said, well, we could hire a private army to take back the hold. And somebody said, that's what I was thinking. But you don't necessarily have to do that. It is a totally open-ended service that he has pledged to you. And that is where we will zoom back to the conversation. The five of you are deliberating in the pub, which is now much better apportioned than it was when you left off onto your journey, drinking fresh ale with ingredients shipped in from the halfling farmers down the road, and discussing what to do with Grodin's promise.
So I see two ways of looking at this. If we take back the hold, then more people are going to die for real estate. And whereas if we develop the hold that we have, then life goes on. But if we think that Thrakgash is migratory or predatory in nature, not just territorial in nature, then we are really just papering over a threat that we have the opportunity to deal with once and for all. Hopefully. Or die trying.
There was one detail from last time and one detail from the bad guy cam that I'll also remind folks of. The bad guy cam was Golem's succubus mother giving him an image of a bunch of adamantine golems tearing through a demonic army and telling him that his time was coming very soon and that he had to wait but a little longer. The thing that actually happened during the game was that you found dwarven adamantine miners who had obviously been kept alive and worked to death until the depletion of the adamantine in the old place.
Right. Which the second fact we know, the first fact we don't. So
Correct.
That's from an in-character standpoint, obviously, and actionable unless...
I mean, you pretty loudly inferred it, but yes, I guess from the in-character standpoint, you don't know it.
Right. So...
At least until I tell you all that, hey, I saw this thing in my head.
Where is this occurring?
Well, my notes here.
The vision did not appear to be in reality as you know it, Golem. It's just stretching plain with this burnt-looking sky. It felt very evil.
Just a straight-up hellscape.
Pretty much.
Well, we
The
don't
golems
even
were
know...
marching against demons.
Correct.
Yeah, but we don't even... I mean, I haven't seen an army of adamantium dwarf golems, have you? I mean, we wouldn't even if we assume that activating this army is for the best, we have no idea where to find it.
The demons have adamantium.
Dean, I know this place is rough, but it's not exactly a hellscape there, Edwin.
Oh, I didn't say it was a
I
hellscape.
don't think it's here.
Well,
They're
right,
already-
but I'm
they're
just
on a
saying that
hellscape.
wherever he's going to take this army, we don't even have it.
Could be a metaphorical adamantine army with dwarves, them standing in for real dwarves.
Well, how often do dwarves really get into the whole metaphor and allegory part of legend? I mean, we really fight things, and we really hit them with our hammer, and we drink real ale, not metaphorical ale with metal men.
Was a vision from dear old mom, so she's pretty metaphorical.
And therein lies the problem.
Yeah, are we going to take advice from a demon? I mean, let's just go ahead and start with that question.
The advice.
I mean, was it even advice? Or was it just, like, prophecy or motherly well wishes?
Little column A, little column B. I mean, she basically told me that this would soon all be mine.
Good for you.
For yours, that doesn't sound a little bit menacing to you.
Well, if someone's gonna have an golem army, I'd like it to be Golem.
She might not have meant the beatdown. She might have meant the and hellscape and this army that is doing stuff.
That's what I mean. Look through the myths and legends of any
Threatening.
society. What happens when anyone ends up with that kind of power?
Don't think very highly of Golem here, do you?
I'm feeling a little singled out here, guys.
If you suddenly inherit a demonic Golem army, I won't immediately shoot you in the face.
I appreciate that.
Neither will I.
Well, I don't think anyone is suggesting anyone shoot anyone in the face. We're just looking at the options here.
Demon or not,
It's more like we're debating what may or may not be happening on a hellscape. What we should be debating is what we do with this favor that we have. Do we want an army to retake the old hold, or do we want something else?
I want the army.
Well, isn't the old hold covered in literal, not metaphoric, lava?
Yeah, I think we may be better served using these resources to improve this hold.
I would agree. We're already starting to make a home here as well.
Because I think if we retake the old hold, We're not retaking a hold. We're retaking a whole. There's nothing left.
Exactly the point I've been trying to make. We'd be fighting over real estate, not over anything that's truly meaningful.
Let's use the favor to improve this hold. And
The
then
problem is those demons are up to something.
While you guys are in the middle of your discussion, there is a dwarven messenger boy who waltzes in with a satchel from Grodin's emissary. And he just sort of plops it on the table in the middle of you all and says, since you mentioned you were considering hiring a mercenary company, he took it upon himself to see who would be available on a moment's notice. And he told me to give you this. Thanks, bye. He just darts out of the room. And there are two sort of parchment portfolios side to side out on the table, wrapped up in twine, and a single page letter resting on top of them. And it says in fine dwarven runic calligraphy, "These are the two I was able to find. The first is a celestial compact. They're a well-regarded mercenary company made up primarily of arcanists and a contingent of light infantry to do what wizards find impractical or impossible to do when conducting a military operation. They would put at your fingertips a wide and devastating range of spells, but not too many soldiers, numerically speaking. The second is Wyvern Company. Wyvern Company have a more well-armed and large cohort of light and heavy infantry, archers, skirmishers, the whole deal. They also have heavy dwarven cast mortars, which would be able to pound a stationary target or a large formation of troops from a long distance. Grodin is willing to buy you one or the other." There's a postscript. "He has also asked me to extend you this possibility. If you employ these to retake the Iron Mountain and are willing to allow Grodin operational control of the fortress if you are successful to further his aims of dwarven solidarity, consolidation, and rehabilitation, he will spend the money for both of them. However, he will consider his favor satisfied and you not in his debt at all if you buy only one. Of course, if you choose to use this favor on another service, you may simply disregard these papers. Thank you, goodbye."
Why don't we, instead of buying an army, why don't we buy a bunch of workers? Because I think we could probably buy 3 times the amount of laborers for the price of one army to make this hold we have now something worth living in.
Until the demons come for this one.
There will always be demons. They will always have plans. Next time, we just need to be better prepared.
Also, probably not have an evil wizard on the inside. So
Yeah, exactly. That's something else we need to remember from
Yeah.
that original thing, is that this demon didn't just pop up. There were people on the inside that sold us out to it. You know, they fell to its sway or enabled it or who knows what, but this wasn't just a random event. I mean, it's not like you just dig a little deeper and all of a sudden you hit hell. I mean, the summoning circles we found were actually fairly high up in the hold.
no, it's
That is
easier
true.
to summon than to dig.
Is this really our decision to make? We do have a leader.
gossiping about it.
And we can also take it to the people, see what they think. If we try to make it here or try to retake the old hole.
talk to Viceroy Regent guy.
Newt Gunray?
No! That's what I say when someone invokes Newt Gunray.
Who's that?
What does Undin want to do about it?
You guys going to London?
Yes.
Yeah.
You guys go into Undin's court, and it's a little more elaborate than it was last time around. He's got a few muttering people writing things down on paper, and it's decorated and actually has a little steel crown on now, or steel-looking thing. It's probably actually iron. Ah, my most honored friends. Welcome, welcome. Have you given any further thought to Grodin's offer?
We should info dump the paperwork that came in and his follow-up offer. Ding the hold once it's retaken to the whatever thing that Grodin's doing. Find out if he even wants to retake it or if he wants to or do something else.
At the cost of him having operational control.
Alban, what do you think we should do as the one here who's most well versed in the ways of the elders? I'm just seeking your advice here. I'm not committing to doing what it is that you say.
How the ancestors would want to play it, but just do what they plan to do wasn't in my year. Taken, and it was taken for a reason. Now, humans, it didn't seem to matter whether we, just moved on or not, but I think these demons are moving with is typical of their breed. And the name is suspicious, and is an intent. We don't know what it is. Not going to be good, and just letting it go. I mean, we could. We have our own people to worry about. We can't save everything just ourselves. There's certainly advantages to shoring up, but and helping our people directly. Grander
These are all considerations I was aware of, rather. But what do you think we should do now?
Take both armies and put them back in their hole, and then everyone can live better. Whatever gods want Ironblood Fortress after it's over can take it.
I see. Hand them back to Grodin. But we remain here in Dwarfheim. Is that your proposal?
Yes, we move on from the new fortress of our people. That the grander there's a grander. We are on a grander stage than one fortress of dwarves.
Yes, yes. The ancestors would approve if we were to liberate it, but at what cost? At what cost? Edwin, what do you think? I value your opinion. You're a scholar of dwarves that's better than most dwarves are of being dwarven scholarship.
Your Majesty, dwarves as a species have hit upon a difficult time. I think it would be best not to look at this just in terms of our own clan, but also dwarves as a whole, who have lost important places and important people. And I think this is not a time to be fighting over places, but instead to be fighting for people. I recommend making as few devil's bargains, both literal and metaphorical, as we can, and investing in what we have here.
I see. The two broad options, the subject of half the discussions in this hold ever since we returned back to it. It is a difficult decision, and yet one that I must make. Do any of the rest of the three of you have an idea that doesn't, in broad terms, conform to either Albin's or Edwin's?
The old home is a tomb. Do you wish to go back and live in a tomb? Do you wish to spill blood for a tomb? Is there anything of value in a tomb?
They have the adamantium, and they may yet have prisoners and slaves.
When we ran, I looked over my shoulder, and there was nothing but magma covering everything. I don't think anything survived.
The slopes outside, yes. The mountain is large, and the tunnels are deep. Perhaps they did not. Perhaps they did. Golem, you were beginning to speak?
I think we just need to make... this is where we have to make our home. Back to that will maybe be smiled upon by the ancestors. It won't help us. Be a short-term morale boost at a cost of 4 lives, and not to mention Grodin would be in operational command. Whatever changes he may have had can be reversed. And do you really think these people that were under his thumb for so long really take to his change of heart? I don't think so.
No.
Uses money, uses influence, hire workers and laborers, recruit more dwarves here, expand the hold, make it our own empire, and then when the time is right, we return. And we open up the gates. And we take what is ours if there's anything left.
I think that'd be the wisest course of action. We fortify everything here and make this a beacon of dwarven culture. Enlightenment. Our kin will come to us from all just to see it and help.
A land of dwarven culture and enlightenment. It is an attractive proposition. Anna, your thoughts, finally?
Disagree with any of them, but I can't deny that I would very much enjoy taking 2 armies to crush those fiendish back into the hellhole they crawled out of. But that's just a personal whim, not necessarily the best idea overall. I think would be to fortify here, build up until we have our own army to crush them.
Yes. Yes, I think you're right. What should we order with all of Grodin's money first?
Specialists, possibly, to work with the... would be extremely helpful when we eventually go to, as I mentioned, crush them back into their own hellhole.
Laborers to dig out the tunnels, to create homes, to create alehouses and mines and processing and works.
Maybe some guards just in case there's something living in the pit below us.
And make sure everyone we hire is a dwarf, so that we may give them the option to stay.
He crooks his eyebrows at that. I believe we should canvass among the dwarves primarily, but there are virtuous men and elves among us, don't you think? Smiles at Edwin and Anna.
No, I don't.
Really? Explain.
Cat says otherwise, Bran.
Do we want this to be a dwarven hold, or do we want this to be a hold of all the peoples of the lands? I don't have a problem with humans or elves much, or gnomes or
Hold with a
halflings.
human, halfling, elvish city sitting outside.
Are we making this a hold of dwarven culture, or are we making this a hold of everyone's culture?
Dwarven, of course. But I hardly think that
outside?
those outsiders who can behave themselves and conform to our ways are a
Oh, I'm
horrible
not saying close the gates. I'm just saying we recruit citizens. We recruit dwarves to do the work that they may stay.
I agree.
And
I
where
agree.
you cannot, then others, but don't necessarily encourage them to stay.
We think
them
alike. I perhaps misinterpreted your first suggestion. I think we're on the same page.
Yeah, your first suggestion sounded a little racist there, Bran.
Very well, very well. I will convene
I agree with Bran.
the council of my sub-chancellors who takes care of these things. We'll draft up a proposition for Groden. We need 3 things, as best I can tell, and we need to prioritize them. We need defensive emplacements, we need the mines themselves, and we need everything in between them, where we live and play and train and pray and raise our families. What do you think is the most important, and what do you think is the least priority at the beginning?
Defensive emplacements first.
The alehouse.
Or Bran, defensive emplacements. We acquired a fair number of craftsmen from already.
That's true. The
Not-
craftsmen that came to us from the old Groden are some of the best I've ever met. So you agree that the defensive emplacement should come first?
Yes.
What then, the mines or the living spaces?
Living spaces.
If we
The alehouse.
prioritize the living spaces less, we'll be able to recruit less immigrants, but if we prioritize the mines the least, we'll be poor for a while.
The way this is going, we're going to have the worst ale in any dwarven hold in the land.
Bran, believe it or
Have you not had the halfling hops yet?
Mother's recipe.
I like my traditional dark mushroom ale, thank you very much. But the beer suffices.
Ew. Mushroom ale.
He went to
Judge my culture!
Oh, Bran, you are behind the times. The halflings have shown us this delightful vine that grows as tall as a tree. We dump it in water and let it sit for a while. Makes the most spicy brew. But not all of you have left the mushrooms behind. You see, over on the other edge of the Great Hall, there are the 2 church ladies, and they're obviously eavesdropping on you. And they nod approvingly at Bran, and they do the hobbit who sweeps his porch scowl at the king and everyone else.
That's right. Mushroom ale was good enough for my great-grandfather. It was good enough for my grandfather. It was good enough for my mother!
They start nodding in approval so ferociously you're worried they're going to break their backs.
No, they were brought up on good mushroom ale. They're strong and stout. Like mushroom ale!
Indeed, indeed. Very well. We will first hire the fortress builders. Then the crafters of homes and schools and places of work and prayer. Finally, a mine. First priority will be upon the cold iron, second upon other resources we can exploit. Is that consensus?
Sounds good.
Aye.
Very good. He dismisses you all. Does anyone else want to say anything to him before we scene change?
Not to him, no.
Okay. He dismisses you all, and it's getting late. It looks like it'll be bedtime soon, but you guys can plan or do anything in town before bedtime. Plot move forward if you'd like.
I would like to check on the trained and Kavak before bed.
What is this first one you said?
To the married dwarves that I taught how to use crossbows before
Oh,
we left.
yes. The three of them are all drinking out in the common area. And they say, Anna, Kavak sidles over you. The two that you trained don't look like they're strapping their crossbow now, walking in the middle of the Great Hall, but that's not unusual. You returned as I knew you would. How was your adventure?
Oh, it was interesting. We may have flooded the place and destroyed a shadow monster, which was interesting.
Ha!
Never done that before.
Serves them all right. When are we taking our home back?
Later.
Later?
We're gonna fortify here first, and then instead of hiring, we'll bring our own army to crush those fiendish bastards back into their hole.
Kavak scowls. I see.
Don't worry, we'll get them.
If that's
You know
the
how I feel
case,
about
then-
fiends.
Yes, I do. I'll probably be old and dead by the time that it happens, but I'll watch it approvingly from the Golden Halls. I hear if enough honorable dwarves die in the same battle, you can open up a channel to the Golden Halls and let the old veterans come join in our ethereal forms. I can't wait. Of course, I expect none of you to die anyway, so it won't be a problem.
But if it is, that sounds very entertaining. I'm sure you'll be marvelous.
Entertaining. He sneers.
You know I like my fun.
You are trivial with your respect of the ancestors, but good with a bow. Still, work on it. Now, have this delicious halfling hop ale. It's so much better than the mushroom beer.
What? What? Ah!
Oh, get over yourself, Bran. We only grew the mushroom beer because we lived underground. Where's Rodney?
I
Rodney!
like the beer.
There's this chorus of yelling. Everyone starts yelling Rodney. And then Rodney comes back. He wanders into the Great Hall. Yes, yes! I love your beer. Oh, thank you, Kavak.
Ah. Right when I started yelling, Dawn threw a bottle cap at me.
As she should.
Mm-hmm.
All right. A couple days go by without incident. Does anyone want to do anything like that takes more than a couple of minutes? Well, I should say this another way. What are you doing for the next 72 hours?
I'm practicing my quick draw.
There are hand crossbows in this universe, and even guns. No. Here we go. Brad, they have recovered some arquebuses as a result of Grodin's intervention. You are trying to look cool, quick drawing an arquebus, and then you shoot it, but it's not loaded, and you bend over and pack the powder again, and you try to be the most awesome, cool guy doing that. It's just inherently so not cool that.
Oh, I don't know.
You realize that, though?
It's somewhat cool. It's somewhat. I think I'm cool, damn it.
That's right.
I drink the
actually
cool
are
man beer.
quite capable of operating the arquebus at an extremely proficient rate, and everybody knows it.
Mm-hmm.
Look cool when you do it. Because
But
what
still-
But I try to tell them that I really, literally do know how to ride a horse, and I'm really good at it. But nobody believes that.
Nobody believes you. They all just laugh at the idea.
Ugh.
The only thing I'd be doing is checking on the names of those inner mines I investigated before we left initially. I know I'd had guards patrolling there just in case. So we'd started surveying, I guess that's the right word.
Yeah, they've mapped out most of them. They came to an obstruction that they couldn't clear at the end of most of the paths. They found a shaft that goes way farther down than the other ones at a super steep angle, and they marked that as a point of interest. But it steepened so much that it eventually became too steep to walk. So they just sort of put it on their little chart and went on their merry way. And they lead you right to it. It's not like crawling with the demon from the 9th level of hell or anything. It's just a slope hole. And it's a good 10, 15 feet wide. You could rappel down it if you really wanted to, but none of them know how deep it is or where it goes.
I'm going to go ahead and send Spot down the Spot Vision.
Okay. Spot hops off of you and crawls and...
He doesn't even have to crawl. He could just, shoot a spinner out of his butt. And...
That's true. He could Spider-Man it down there, but he does not. And eventually you see that more than 50, but less than 100 feet down, a long way down, it becomes a downward-facing slope again instead of a sheer wall. And this network of twisty, turny passages starts anew. And at that point, Spot gets nervous and you kind of feel that you're at the edge of your mental link, distance-wise. So he turns around and crawls back up.
Yeah, I would have called him.
Yeah.
I'll take the map from the nearest one and circle point of interest, show that it's really interesting.
Yeah. You actually could see, reflecting on what Spot saw, that the passages, some of them at the bottom, were starting to get wider. They weren't just little natural tunnels. Well, they could have been natural, but they weren't little. They were starting to branch out into broader passageways.
Did they look as if the stone had been worked, or was it just natural erosion?
No, there was no smooth hewn stone.
Okay.
Was it worn down enough that it could have had traffic over it over many, many years? Yeah, maybe. But it was not like a hallway.
Gotcha. So I'll make a note of it on the map and say we should probably get, once we're situated in a position, we get a rappelling team to go investigate at some point.
Pardon me.
Okay.
I will
And
be hunting,
sorry, Anna, go ahead.
I guess. Scouting out around a mountain,
Okay. Hold on to that.
playing in the trees.
Got it. Alvin, what are you doing?
He's on mute.
George, you're Albin.
Gotta be typing, remember? George, you might
Does
be
his
hunting.
headset not work? Or?
George!
He's also frozen on camera for me. I don't know if that's...
He's working for me.
No.
His mouth is moving, and there's no sounds. Although I just imagine the sounds like...
What's the sound
horrifying.
Brad makes when he's hungover and gets...
How about now?
There you
Yes.
Hey!
Alright, we're going to make it less. Okay, what about this? Is that even better?
Yeah, that's
the
good.
same. It's good.
Okay. Alright. Blim blum. I've got a deacon now, right?
go. Yeah, you have Jeffrey. He is still back here. He's still tending to the flock.
We are not. Jeffrey and I are going to the temples and maybe see if anyone has a divine spark by just having little innocent church events. Maybe start looking for clerics and paladins among the flock and subtly
Okay.
shaping their destiny.
Jeffrey has already been keeping an eye on unusually pious among the congregation while you've been gone, and he has a couple of people that you can start with. A few of the warriors that you think could possibly be trained as paladins, but more commonly, dwarves of all walks of life, young, old men, women, who you believe you could approach for full-time recruitment and training as divine spellcasters. So if that's what you're doing over these couple of days, you can make some progress. Bran, what are you up to?
I am. How much time do we have before?
Next couple of days. This is just your plan on like weekend length worth of time.
Gotcha. I'm trying to. We have like a militia, right?
Oh yeah.
And it's kind of. Is it ragtag or is it pretty organized?
It's better than it was at first, but it's pretty ragtag. The only warriors that came out with you were the Copper Guard and some of the police, which are the least of the military trained.
I'm going through and I'm trying to get these guys better than just, Minutemen. Like a bell's ringing and then they come running. I'm trying to organize them into a better force, not by marching them or drilling them, but I want to find leaders and officers that I can get and bring up and then start outlining with them a way to, drill these guys and make them more professional and then expand the corps as the population grows.
Okay. That sort of thing had already kind of started as the Copper Guard NCOs took charge and were just sort of deferred to because there was no one else. And you're able to help that on considerably since you are one of, if not the best, straight-up stand-up fighting dwarves in a 200-mile radius right now. So you find the people who have been finding the people, and you train them and start this cascade organization. And it's not going to happen overnight, but
right.
You're quickly able to get a handle on who's putting the guard together, and you think with a sufficient period of time, it's a low population and there's not that much heavy-duty gear here, but you could get something done there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everyone, what are you up to? Dan, you there?
Books of demonology that I've been piling up, books of dwarven lore, and I'm trying as best as I can, accepting that I'm using some guesswork, to piece together something. Why Thrakgash? So, he had a cult, apparently, in the Old Hold, and the end result of it is they summon a demon that floods the place with lava, and I can't discern anything that his followers got out of the arrangement. And so I'm trying to look for what it is that would have motivated them specifically to go after Thrakgash as opposed to any other demon or devil. I mean, is there some kind of deal he tends to make? Is he a malevolent force, and so siding with him is your best hope of surviving his arrival? Does he have a let's make a deal side to him, where he may have promised them something in return for their service? Is he aligned with some kind of power or prophecy that they might have been trying to get by proxy?
Okay. You can give me an appropriate knowledge check to see what you can come up with in a couple of days with the books on that question.
Religion and Arcana both come out the same, so...
Do it. Okay. Thrakgash has a brutal, simple, but often effective hierarchical scheme of battle thralls that he places underneath himself to oversee his divisions and fortifications, cities, etc. It is not widely known among demonological lore, but at a 21 at the point of accessibility, that he is known to make deals with extremely promising spellcasters of all varieties, races, classes, schools, etc., and essentially offer them in exchange for selling out their people and worshiping him, positions as one of his delegates. And if you satisfy him, you are essentially given the rest of your former people who have you now betrayed, and whoever else you can conquer in his name as property. So that's how he spreads.
Okay, so it's a Lex Luthor and the original Christopher Reeve Superman sort of plot.
I couldn't tell you because I've actually never seen the original Superman movie, but
Part of it was that it was his henchmen, the ones that went along with him, were given carved up pieces of land.
yes.
So, okay, so do what he wants, and basically you fall into a chain of nobility, so to speak, where he's still your feudal lord, once again, so to speak, but you get a dukedom over people that used to be yours.
That is what the lore says that his deal is. It's very common in demonological lore like that to find, okay, these things all want to make deals, they all go after temptations. There are some that are totally obvious, The succubus does her thing, the gluttony demon does his thing. But Thrakash is a little less completely on the nose than a direct appeal to one classical vice.
Is there
he offers to make you his delegate.
There's something else that I'm curious about. Is there anything I can find in there? And this one, if you'd allow it, I'd like to request advantage on, because this is what I've been spending years doing, is studying what I know of Peliacamos' consort, so Golem's mother. Is there any precedent for succubi actually giving two shits about their offspring?
Take advantage and roll it.
Alright, so that's roll 1, roll 2. Oh wow, both pretty damn good.
Nice. There are legends that if a succubus or incubus actually genuinely feels love toward anything aside from maniacal self-interest,
Sure.
that it just sort of purges itself out of existence. It disappears in a bloom of divine flame. Some scholars have suggested that such creatures are redeemed in the course of that happening. Some have said they just self-annihilate. But aside from that, such a rare possibility, it's debated that it even occurs? No. Succubi and incubi use their own offspring as they use everyone else as pawns.
So whatever Golem's mom has shown him, it's not altruistic.
Probably not. And for a 25, I'll also... Succubi telepathic communication only work if a subject has been charmed, and the succubus can only charm one thing at a time, and only if it's not that far away. Having received a telepathic direct communication from that succubus, you can surmise that Golem was very physically close to her at the time you were in the mountain, and was in fact under some degree of her mental control. Now, he obviously didn't turn around and start shooting at you and cackling, but
no, that's not a
whatever knocked him out may have been that, and in fact you conclude that it was.
Yeah, and turn around and attack us, especially if we're not directly threatening her. It doesn't seem like a succubus sort of thing.
Correct.
It's not terribly manipulative, it's more brutal, and we're not threatening her, why be brutal? So, All right, I am going to confide this information in Bran and only Bran.
Okay.
Oh man, don't confide this in me. I'm irresponsible. I don't even know why they give me guns and armor and stuff, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but I think someone
The
who's a little
guns.
bit irreverent and irresponsible may be exactly what we need right now. Someone who's not going to play this game the way it's supposed to be played.
He's holding two guns, he's like, okay. And then he looks at one, looks at the other, seems to be thinking about something, then his face lights up, and then he drinks beer out of one of the gun's barrels.
Nice.
Also, you were right.
A rare occurrence, to be sure.
Look around you. Hops, beer, things that were manufactured elsewhere, sent to you by a dwarf living in a quarter set up at the behest of human rulers within a human city. Humans that are like me, that will come to a place of dwarven culture and submit to that culture and conform to that culture and put it even ahead of their own culture, we're an oddity. Human culture is in ascendancy right now. Dwarven culture isn't. And dwarves living underground where they do, it's very easy for them to get backed into a corner and to disappear entirely without anyone realizing it for many, many, many years.
Oh, you humans are okay. I like you all well enough, and he kind of cuffs you on the arm. But you don't come up with anything on your own. You just borrow from everybody. But that's your strength.
I think
Because you borrow from each other, and you borrow from everyone else, and then you make something new. Dwarves don't make new things. We just make what we have the best.
we, however exactly you delineate our cultures, if humans and elves and halflings mix as equal partners in this hold, the dwarves will become obsolete.
It is not my decision to make.
I know, but I just want you to know for what it's worth that you're right.
Well, I guess we're going to have to do something that is worthy enough of a tale that will last through the generations.
Let's hope that's enough. My people don't have a long memory.
You don't live long enough or drunk enough.
And as you are out scouting on day 2 of this, everyone has successfully been doing their things, and these conversations have occurred. You need to give me a perception check, please.
Oh.
This is impossible to fail as such, but it'll help determine when you see this.
Hold on. Just double checking something.
And how much detail you get.
Oh, my proficiency bonus did go up. Hold on. Forgot to update it on my sheet. Perception.
A 9. Okay. You can't make out any of the details, but some clothed and vaguely humanoid figure is super Superman flying over your head and toward the entrance of Dwarfheim.
The fuck?
What does it look like?
At a 9, you can tell that it's a bipedal humanoid, and flying at about
Is it alone?
60 feet every 6 seconds. Yes, it is alone.
I get down?
Do you wave at it? Okay.
Like, hey, flying dude, what's up?
He swoops around. Roll for initiative, please.
Okay.
Fortunately, I was on the flak cannons right about then, so like,
Yeah, I didn't want to just shoot at him in case it turned out to be friendly, but yeah, I guess I can just shoot him.
All right,
That was-
load Bran up in one of the cannons and fire me at him.
That was genteel of you, but you can tell he's casting a spell. Oh, nice.
no. The guy in a
Yeah, I
black
beat
robe
him.
flying around the lands.
Oh, Dan, cast Dispel Magic on him when he's like really high up and going at a high velocity.
I don't know that I am even aware this is occurring.
None of you are aware of this yet.
How close are we to the, like, where was I when I saw him?
He's about 100 feet away and rocking toward.
This is like Pearl Harbor. I
Yeah,
see
but
him
like,
on radar.
how far
but
away am
short
I
it
from,
off.
like, the entrance?
Oh, from the entrance?
Flying.
Good half mile or so. You definitely cannot run as fast as this guy can fly. You can make noises, though.
Rocketing through space. Okay. I'm going to assume that I have worked out something with, at the very least, the crossbow dwarves. Some sort of animal call sound that I will make that sound to indicate that some kind of happening here.
Okay, excellent. He gets pretty much right over your head. It's about 30 feet up, so not like right over, but laterally right over. And dumps this horrific black cone of negative energy down upon you.
What a dick.
And please give me a Constitution save.
One initiative.
Yeah.
Five, I rolled
Did you make a signal with your was that
sound,
bonus
not
action or
take up a
something?
whole roll, a whole turn.
okay?
Dude.
All right, so you get
Triangulate as a free action.
I know. So you're gonna shoot first.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot him.
All right. All right, give me damage. All right. Your arrow shimmers through his magical defense field and strikes him. Believe he has to make a concentration check, right?
That's how it used
Like
to
if he was
be.
actively trying to cast a spell while rocketing through space, then he
Yes.
has to make a roll to not lose the spell.
Well, I would also, I'd also guess that flight requires concentration.
Is concentration even a thing in 5e, or do you
Yes.
just activate an abilities?
No, it is. I don't know the
Okay.
details of how it
Double
works,
time
but it is still a thing.
I've got it right here.
Taking damage. Whenever you take damage while you are concentrating on a spell, you must make a Constitution save throw to maintain your concentration. The DC equals 10, or half the damage you take, whichever number is higher. You take damage from multiple
Okay.
sources, blah blah blah.
So it's 10 against Constitution.
yes, it's a con save at a
Nice.
10.
All right.
will
His
confirm.
spell craps out as he's on the descent, and he immediately bugs out and starts flying away from you after you shoot at him
Hold on,
back toward the entrance of the Iron Mountain.
Hold
You can
on a
get one
second.
more shot at him before you leave his range.
Flight
I
itself
will-
might require concentration.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Or
flight
rocket
itself is concentration, so he just lost flight.
Okay.
Or is that separate concentration rolls for each spell?
I don't believe you can't concentrate on 2 spells.
Hmm.
You can only
Well,
concentrate
he's
on
not
one.
concentrating on the offense spell he is making. You absolutely can cast other spells while you're not.
No, that is correct. You just can't concentrate 2 spells.
Okay, Miranda. I'm going to make this your problem. Do you want this? Do you want to make another roll, or do you want to fall right down on top of you?
Well, I've warned the hold, so I'm going to shoot him again. He can.
Hey, you want an idea?
I mean, he's got some significant momentum
She-
going on.
She's like a super elf ranger, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can she, as like a free action, quickly affix a piece of twine to a rope or to an arrow and shoot
No,
it?
I'm not giving you the hook shot. I'll let you shoot him out of the sky, though. Yeah, I like it. I like the concentration messing with. Let me see how much damage you take when you fall 30 feet. I think it's 3d6.
30 feet at 60 miles an hour.
It's done by distance.
Closer, what's he?
Yep, it would be
what's he
3d6.
look like? What's he dressed as? Is he
You
dressed
actually
as-
recognize him. He is Lutrig, the Wizard Guildmaster, back at Iron Hold.
What dick.
And he is dressed in ratty ass robes. Alright, so he took 7 from your and 6 from the fall. Alright, Miranda, this is the fight of your life.
hit him a lot. Like a
2
lot.
attacks now.
You might be right.
Hold on, I'm doing damage.
I do. I get an extra attack.
Alright, roll your extra attack, please. Okay, only 1 damage, please. He is incidentally
Turn already.
casting. Okay.
Did he get up?
Yes.
Okay, just checking.
Is she within view of Dwarfheim? And if she is, do we have lookouts?
Yes. The
There's
lookouts are
skeleton
returning her shout. They're and raising the alarm. I can tell you all, unless this battle moves toward you or everyone rolls zeros for like 12 rounds in a row, it's going to be over before the muster can respond to it.
We are mustering our
Move
mustard anyway.
towards.
Okay.
Hopefully we can catch
Move
up.
towards.
Hey! Hot dog!
Okay, it's still only going to be a 10 DC to save because half of 15 is less than 10. Let's go. There we go.
Hot dog puns, Dawn. This game is the height of society.
As far as my move,
These are the moments we relish.
I
All right.
Don't worry, we'll all just catch up here in a second.
instant at me.
Dan, you're just a wiener.
Well, even if we don't reach the fight, let's at least get in the ballpark.
No!
I think Anna's not going to win this, to be frank.
I don't see how you're linking that pun to these jokes.
Okay, Anna, when he actually gets his spell off, there is another horrific blast of necrotic energy that shoots out toward you. And,
spell he's casting. by the
Oh,
way.
yes.
I want you to know that even if he wins, this has got to be embarrassing for him that he's coming flying in, going to do his death strafe, and then he just falls flat on his face from 3 stories up.
Yes. Highly embarrassing.
Far away.
Give me a
He
constitution
actually-
save. He landed about 20 feet away from you.
Hey
Extra.
Dan, you might want to reconnect all the players on your screen because Ed is like these zombie eyes.
I've been
I was
debating what I
half-
want to do because of the way this stupid layering works out. It screws up everything for me to do that refresh. I'll see what I can do.
This will be a con save at a 14, Rando,
Where the hell is my...
and this is a half damager. Do
Ed
you have
looks like
any kind of ability that makes you save for 0 when you take hit, or is that rogues only in this one?
That's rogues
like
only.
anything I have for
Okay.
Like high level rogues.
Okay.
That is a roll.
Nice.
Yeah, so there's my save, and he's 5 feet away from me as I move towards the hold.
Okay.
And I think you get a.
Face.
Oh, you're running to the hold? Okay.
Yeah, I'm
He's a
moving
dwarf,
towards
he's
my
not running.
presence.
I think you get another D8 for him being wounded on that hit you made. Oh, you did
It
it.
was a
You did
2d8.
it. Okay, you take 21 damage as the
Holy shit.
terrifying necrotic aura descends upon and around you.
Whoa.
Your legs turn to mush for a minute, and then you kick back, and you start going as fast as you can again.
Asshole.
Do you... What are you looking at in the next round? Ahead of you toward the hold, or trying to do the whole, like, player-unknown battlegrounds?
I'm keeping my eyes mostly on him. I feel at this point I would know the area well enough to do a backwards running battle
Okay.
fairly frequently, and now I've been scouting for consistently 2 days, so...
Okay, it is your turn in the initiative. He does not look like he is physically running to keep the pace with you. He is definitely starting to cast another spell. In horrific,
I'm gonna shoot
profane,
at him
demonic.
because I have a longbow.
Okay, very
Well,
good.
if he's
It
a
is 4.
wizard, you've done a fair amount of damage to him. He can't. I mean, knock on wood. He can't have a lot of hit points left.
He can, but probably not. So I'm gonna
unless he's
shoot
possessed by a demon.
Oh,
that. Double 6s. Roll 20. Why are you a... Right, I
Roll
rolled the
20 a
That
bitch.
should be plus 10, not plus 1. So that's...
2 6.
what?
17.
Yeah.
No, it's 16.
Oh, okay.
16.
That makes sense. Okay, give me 2 damages.
I'm gonna make sure I'm pushing the right button this time.
Very good.
And here's the second one.
Oh, baby.
It's critical.
He's real close. Let's see if he can...
Also going to
You didn't beat
bolt
20,
it
yeah.
under 35 feet towards...
Okay. This is pretty much for his life, unless you really screw the pooch on your next attack. DC is 10. Okay,
And another animal call so that everybody knows exactly where I am.
yes. You are able to see him snap out of view, just vanish from where he stood. And the alarm is continuing to blaze all around you, and the rapid response crew is catching up.
We're dwarves. We have short legs.
That's true. What do you do, Miranda, in the immediate aftermath? What's that?
Vanish?
Say again?
Like,
Yes,
he just vanishes. He doesn't
he just
attack me or anything.
Vanishes. No, he does not attack you. He doesn't jump back up in the
Invisible or
air.
whatever.
He's either invisible or gone,
Hold
or
on,
something
let me
else
look up.
happened.
I'm not going back over there. I got severely injured by that one murder spell he threw at me. So I'm going to move. Full on run away.
Peck the wound with dandelions.
I'm going to bravely run away back to
Okay.
whatever the fastest I can do that. I'm going to do that for my whole turn. Because if he's not visible, I'm not going to go look for him.
Okay. Give me one more perception check, Miranda.
Sure. And for that, that would be 70 feet I can move for a dash.
Okay. No problem. He's no longer attacking you.
Is
Before he vanished, you saw those two slicing through a thin bubble of mage armor. You've seen mage armor before. And hurt him badly. In fact, if he didn't have several level Dwarven Constitution hit point bonuses, he would have fallen.
good.
All right. You see him take to the air and fly back toward the west,
He bleeds
hundreds and hundreds of feet away. There is no way he crossed the ground that you saw him take off from on foot. So he either has a motorcycle or he just teleported backwards directly away from you. But you see him as a speck off in the distance.
He can't flying strafe murder people. They're suffering for it. Anyway, I'm still gonna go back to because that hurt quite a bit.
All right. The wife of the two crossbowers that you had trained a moment ago is the first one to reach you. She had the foremost operating post. And she says, "What the hell just happened?"
What was his name again? The dude?
His name was Luttrig.
To say it was Luttrig. He's flying now, I guess? Back off with a couple arrows in him after dropping whatever did this, and I'm going to gesture to whatever I look like right now.
You look purple and bruised, and you're actually feeling selectively numb in different points of your body. The feeling comes right back, but you are super unsteady right now. And starting to feel queasy, like you've drank way too much without any of the fun parts.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
Yes. You were hit by a blight.
I don't like it.
It is bad news.
Am I close enough now that she's returned? Maybe do an Arcana check to see if I can cast at her?
Yeah, Ed. At your level of training, I'm just going to say you can ID it off the bat.
Okay.
She's suffering from obvious dehydration and a corona of dissipating negative energy. She was absolutely hit by a direct single target necromantic damage attack, which you've never personally seen employed, but which you are quite sure is quite capable of killing less resilient beings in a single blow.
Oof.
It's still unpleasant. I'm going to just sit down right here for a minute.
You look unpleasant. That's sitting down is good. At least. Maybe some sleep. Blanket.
Really great. I enjoy
Sleep
it.
definitely sounds really great to you, Anna. And so does lots and lots of water. In fact, the more this goes on, the more it's feeling like the worst hangover that just keeps getting worse. You're pretty sure you've been drained.
Quickly carry a water skin with me, so I'm going to drink that whole thing as I plop down on the ground with the dwarves.
Water.
Yes, it feels
That's
like
poison.
the Friday morning of Gen Con. Exactly so. Go.
Yeah, no, that sounds really awful.
Golem, Luttrig was the leader of the Arcanist Library back in Ironhold. You have no idea what he's doing out here, but you knew he was an extremely accomplished magician. You didn't know he was dabbling in lethal necromancy. But things like flying, turning invisible, throwing around fireballs, that sort of crap, he could do that, and he could do that at least a couple times a day.
Well, this is... So he was higher than Ulfric then? Even.
Yes.
Okay, because I have Ulfric's book.
He was quite easily the most accomplished natural spellcaster you've ever encountered. Succubuses and shadow demons from your visions may be better than him in this particular area, but person who was born of two mortals and doesn't come from a different plane, he's the best you've ever seen.
Cool. That's fun. This is good. Just the most talented magician ever.
He's full of arrows now. I mean,
And give me a straight intelligence check, please. Unless you have knowledge, religion, or knowledge arcana, in which case you can give me a modification.
I've got nature. That doesn't seem to
Doesn't count. Yeah, straight intelligence, please.
All right, hold on.
Nice. He had decked his robes out in Thrakash sigildry.
Well, tell as I drink all of my water and whatever water anyone else in my vicinity has.
I'll even throw you some. What's your hit points? Like, what's your total?
82?
32 total? Whatever your halfway point between that is, go to that. Because I can just do that to people.
Okay.
You'll have half your total, at least. And if you rest an hour, you can roll a bunch of d8s at it. We'll save my magic for emergencies.
It's not magic. It's the ancestors.
Yes, we'll save...
It's ancestor magic.
Yeah, they're old. They have to rest.
We're going to put the minimum number of ghost dwarves in you to fix this.
And I'm gonna stagger back to the hold. Relay this to everyone else that didn't come running.
You make it back to the hold, no problem. The watchers get back up on their little stands and start scanning the sky with a renewed vigor. They weren't really looking at clouds before. They were looking at obvious woodland paths. But now they are.
Now they know that there's a flying butt poison at them.
Poison's a long way to describe what he threw at you.
I like poison. Or at least the aftermath of a significant amount of poison.
This is more like life poison.
Like,
Water is poison.
Oh, water is good for Anna right now.
She needs some good traditional mushroom beer.
Thank you. That sounds dehydrating. I'm gonna stick with water for right now.
Probably the Christmas lights on your chair didn't protect you.
Really do not. I'm gonna make myself some good berries and eat them all. They're all for me to have.
Okay.
Stuffing your face with berries because you're an elf.
Berries and water. everything will be
You
fine.
are your own stereotype, you know that?
We should probably tell the regent guy.
You walk into his chamber,
I come with.
and he looks at Anna and says, "Oh my. You don't look very well. What's wrong?"
Raider and flew in to throw doom at us. Then I shot him and he flew away. I was not aware he could fly.
Well, good work. Did you kill him?
Looked really great on his way out. He seemed surprised with all the arrows.
Perhaps we should
Comes back.
enhance the watchmen outside. Make sure they know to look at the sky and double the patrols for a while. What do you think of that?
When I left, but definitely amp up the guards a little bit. I would have looking for people he can train in clerical magic.
Did we mention that we know him? Because we know him.
So
You know him? Albus,
I
you
know
know him.
Of him. I mean, I didn't know him.
personally, but I mean, I have seen him before. All dressed up as a Thrakash worshiper. That happened.
Well, I suppose that explains who let Thrakash inside.
That it does.
But why did he come here? How did he get here? And why did he come alone? This makes no sense.
He didn't really stop the conversation.
Do you think you could find him?
I'm going to assume that I saw what direction he was heading when he flew off.
Yeah.
Theoretically,
Sprayed a bloody trail on the ground as he
the
flew.
direction he was heading. I mean, he flew off at a good clip there.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but actually George has a really clever point. He was bleeding as he flew. Can Enna track him?
She can try.
Again, I'm not great at following a bird flying, but
Yeah, but he was
trail,
bleeding
so-
as he was flying. If he was,
You had to
he
track a
was leaving
bloody.
something of a trail, so we'll see if we can find it.
I mean, if he was just flying, I'd be like, yeah, there's no way of tracking him. But he was bleeding
about-
as he did it.
Your elf magic makes berries. Can it?
Your butt
Wait,
makes
what?
berries.
I make. Yes.
Hi, Trista.
Trista has.
Way to
comments.
set on the stream, Trista. Well
It's gonna be on
done.
YouTube forever, Trista. Yeah, and you stop and think about it for a moment, and you realize that no, you can't track contrails flying through clouds. But yes,
I can
this dude was
probably
dumping
find
fluids, and you saw which way he flew off. If you got a little lucky, the splatter could point you in the right direction.
Okay, once I'm recovered, we will at least recovered a little bit. We'll do that, and I just gained 10 hit points from the series. I'm feeling okay.
Good.
One wants to mount up and.
The following day, the first of the engineers that Grodin hired show up. And you can see them consulting with the Copper Guard and the Watchman. And one of the Copper Guardsmen walks up to Bran and says, "Well, how do we start?"
Start what?
"Defensive emplacement. I was told it's the first priority."
Oh, well, Bran is a military man, and he's a mason. So, Bran starts by trying to give this guy the secret mason handshake to make sure he's on the up and up.
Oh, well, let's see if he knows it. He's got to roll for this.
Roll a d33 to see which degree Mason you are.
That's right.
I'll roll for you.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Wait, doesn't know what a d33 is? Oh, there we go. Chad is a 15th degree Mason.
Roll it
Right.
again. Let's see what this guy is.
This guy
No!
Oh,
is a
Where do you
7th
find
degree
these
Mason.
people?
you get to the 8th, like, elbow rub thing, and he's doing great so far, and then you lose him. So you're like, how? That's about what you expected from preliminary foreman of a sloppy mercenary job working for somebody else. Okay.
Yeah.
He's not a slaughtering
subcontractor.
babe, but he's definitely a subcontractor.
Are dwarven cannons a thing in this setting?
Oh, yeah.
There you go, Chad. 2 stealth cannons facing out the door.
Fire this guy out of a cannon? Get the attention of a real mason? Is that what you're suggesting?
I actually had in mind more of a flechette gun. Get 2 cannons pointed out the door. We still have all of those ice spikes that I dug up. Load them with that. You know what? You're really going to ruin somebody's day with 2 rounds of that.
Unless the somebody is like an ice golem and they're like, oh yes, rub that on my body. I love it.
He turns over and says, "A flechette weapon? What are you fighting, a dragon?
I
I mean, we can do it."
Like, yeah, kinda. I start laying out ideas and plans. Well, this guy's just like a foreman subcontractor. I'm like, is there like an architect or somebody in charge? Maybe.
Hold on.
I think flechetting the cold iron would be.
That would be an interesting prospect.
Well, I was trying
Dan,
to
roll
come
me,
up with
roll me another D33, Dan.
Yeah.
what is the closest thing we have access to that's like a flash?
Oh yes!
Oh my god,
Oh!
a 32nd degree Mason.
Yes.
This
I
guy-
mean, the 33. The 33. I mean, there's only one,
Yeah,
and
there's-
he's in like his high patriarch thing. So we
Exactly,
didn't.
I
I mean,
don't-
we got his number two guy.
He goes and gets his supervisor, and this old dwarf with a white beard that goes down to his shoes hobbles up to you and starts going through the first 15 degrees of the handshake. And he slows down a little bit around 8. You can't keep up. And then he just keeps on going. And he points at you.
Oh my god!
My
I just like.
foreman wasn't good enough. What insight do you have, 14th degree?
14th. I'm a 15th degree.
You missed
Nowhere.
the pinky.
By the end of the handshake, you don't know what
There's this
happened,
little
but you're
thing.
pregnant.
I broke this pinky in basic training. I have a note from my doctor. I don't have to do that one.
No excuses.
Only the best I would expect from a 32nd degree Mason. I understand, sir. I start lining out what we would like, but it quickly devolves into me just, falling over this guy and just asking him what he thinks is the best.
All right, aerial defense network. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna have 2 interlocking flechette weapons. One for low altitude, one for high. Low altitude. We'll have large but relatively less numerous pellets.
Is this guy's last name Magino?
I'm thinking,
No.
no, actually, where I'm with the boys, I'm thinking, somebody get me Brodor.
High altitude will be smaller pellets that come more numerously. We'll get it whether it comes in high or low. I would ask you for an approval, but I know more than you do. Start building.
Absolutely.
This is the
Anything
dwarf.
I can do to help you, sir.
Get me all of your cold iron.
Sounds like a plan to me. I start
There's
heading
a
out.
flying demon that shows up here. It's going to be real battle. All right.
I start rousing people to help this guy. Anything he says goes.
They start building aerial defensive emplacements with dwarven steampunk and loading it with cold iron. It's going to take them a long time to get this done, but under the direction of the 32nd degree, it's going much faster than you thought it was possible.
And if this comes up, I do actually have the reference here for siege engines.
The dice will be... If you nail someone flying with one of these things, it will be good luck to whoever you shot.
Yeah, it's the base damage is 8d10.
Yeah.
Well, and I also want the Grand High Master here to know too that we just don't want to focus on aerial defense. We want a holistic approach to defense.
Well, that's why I was suggesting like flechettes or grape shot or something, because that way you get a
Well,
nice spread against all kinds of stuff.
Also, walls and gates and palisades and murder holes and all that good stuff.
Oh, you mean for us? I thought you meant
One
Yeah.
damn feet at a time, 15th degree.
I'm so
You
sorry.
have 10 projects on the first day, you're going to have 10% of 10 different things. And then the orcs are going to show up and you're all going to die.
This is wisdom beyond my understanding, sir.
Go back to nursery school. Give me another pallet of stones.
I start yelling at people to get this man his stone.
All right. Their construction project gets well underway. And
You know nothing about the seashells.
everyone is rested up. Everyone has their spell back. And you think the trail is probably still relatively hot if you want to try to find.
Track this guy.
Okay. Give me wilderness survival.
Casting mage armor.
Hold on, I might be able to. I think I can bardic inspiration that. I think that applies to skill checks. Let me be sure of that, though.
I'm gonna bark skin myself.
Actually, you can go ahead and make the roll. John just cannot tell you success or failure until I tell you if I'm doing bardic inspiration or not.
Okay, hold on, let me just double check.
Okay, and yes, it does, and it does affect those. So I can give you a bonus if you. I'll wait until I see the roll. Like I said, John just can't say success or failure until I make the call on whether I'm gonna use bardic inspiration. Or no, it's the other way around. I think I actually give you the inspiration. Yeah, how does it work?
Oh wait, hold on. I think I get a.
I've had a scurry day. Almost getting
this
run
has
into
been a while
the
since-
Mississippi
Yeah, you got-
River does that to you.
Sideswiped.
Yeah, on the bridge on the new Chain of Rocks bridge over the Mississippi, right by the Chain of Rocks. So it was.
Should have gone over the Eads Bridge,
That's
where
right.
the troll lives.
That's right. Not anymore, though.
Yeah, I know.
Ward is no longer a troll.
He's just like a full-time person now, right?
Yeah, he gave it up.
Okay, so all right, I give you the roll. So you have the bardic inspiration, and so you have a banked D8. As a 5th level, it's now a
And
D8.
choose if.
So
Do I have to declare it ahead of time, or can I add it on if I do
the
it?
way it works is you make your roll, but before John declares success or failure, you can say I'm going to add it or not. So you
John
can't-
might also declare an incremental degree of success. This isn't like switch flipping.
Right. So, but my point being, if you roll like an unsalvageable, so if you want to turn that into a boss ass roll, you can throw that D8 on top of it.
Okay, and you see the blood trail. Like, that is clear.
Should be pretty significant. He was full.
Yes. You follow that west and west and west and west for several hours, and then it stops, and you think you're on the verge of being able to pick up a walking trail, but it's not quite clear.
I'm gonna use the D8 then.
Roll anything but a 1. Congratulations. Okay.
Up to 25.
At that point, you roll. Well, you see something curious. Dwarven footprints, no doubt. Looks like he was running faster than like a fast, tall person. So, how he was moving? Yes, faster than you. How he was moving at 100 feet around, sustained. You're not sure, but he definitely was, and you can definitely pick up the trail because it's a messy trail once you've picked up on it from where he landed. He's just crashing through stuff at an extremely high rate of speed and leaving footprints.
Still bleeding.
West, straight into the direction of Iron Mountain.
How far do we want to follow this? I mean, we can probably assume that that's where he's going.
We've come this far. He attacked us once. He's going
We
to
want
try
to
again.
get into eyesight of it and just going on over there. I don't really want to do a solo assault on.
Yeah.
Do you think he might bleed out? If you think he might bleed out, he might fall, and we might find his dying corpse on the way there.
I'm not saying, oh, we know where he's going, let's stop tracking. I'm just saying, how far do we want to track him? Because they might have.
How far away is is Iron Mountain from Dwarfholm?
It's a couple of weeks overland.
Oh, okay.
Assuming
Well-
you're not alternating between flying and running at extremely high rates of speed and
Which
traveling
means if he's
solo.
flying and running, he's also not
Let's-
resting, which means he's
Let's
not getting his
let's track him a little
hit
while
points
longer. Let's
back.
see if we.
We might be able to run him down.
So he's got two choices. Either stops to rest, at which point we run him down, or he doesn't stop to rest, which means when we catch him, he's going to have not regained anything, so I say we go after him.
Yeah, but he's got
Following him for a little
magic.
bit longer. Yeah.
He needs his an 8-hour rest, and he's gone. He's a jetpack again.
Right. He's also using Expeditious Retreat to haul. You can stay on rail, but it seems to be
Moving significantly faster than we
always ahead of you. Yes.
because I'm traveling with a bunch of dwarves. Not.
The ancestors really like smiting and living aspect of things. They don't really try to get anywhere in a hurry. So
Eventually, you do see the remnants of something that was obviously his campsite. But it looks like he
From the first camp, then we're not going to catch him.
trying to triangulate how he paced, catching his breath, memorizing his spells, going to sleep, and pushing through the night. It seems to be clear that at his first gasp of a dash, he did not sit down as soon as he was out of arrow range. He was going.
Small.
Yeah, well, if we found a campsite and he's not at it, we're not going to find him. Because
Agreed.
he had time to rest enough to refresh his spells, which means he had time to plan all escape spells if he wanted to. And by now,
teleports, various
super running,
teleportations.
flight.
Does-
plan.
Anyone here have any kind of magic or spells that could locate him?
No.
Oh,
Well, we know where he is. Do we know where he is at Iron Blood Mountain? No, but I would bet that he would go to the safety of his
I'm going to use a spell
demon.
to do
God
primeval awareness.
master.
Are we, if there's any sort of like aberration, celestial, dragon, elemental, fey, or fiend, or undead in 6 miles of here?
How
then
far?
I will know it. 6 miles. 'Cause it's
That might be useful if he's possessed or something. At least we'd know it.
Okay.
in range.
Within 6 miles of your present position.
Yeah, we gotta
In
sit
the
for a minute.
in the western direction toward Ironblood Hole, you see near the edge of that perception, 2 faint, fiendish image residences.
Okay, I will relay that. Prizing. Close. But that's pretty far away, and we're if one of those happens to be this guy, we're not going to catch up.
It's only 6 miles, and it's 2 of them. I think we're picking up on something new, which I'm kind of curious about.
Got it?
Because at this point, I mean, we already.
Dungeons and Dragons.
I'm looking for anything that I can contribute, but I don't think I have anything.
We're out already. I guess we can go a little bit farther, but I don't think we're going to find him, but we can keep looking.
Mm-hmm.
These 2 clowns 6 miles away are.
Head towards the whatever they are.
Oh, some
I will
kind
caution, try not to make the most noise you can make, as you usually do. I'm looking at you, Bran.
Bran, like, kind of looks disheartened and puts his pot and his
down your
paint and
log,
his
yeah.
wooden spoon away. All right.
Once they see us, you can make all the noise. Just wait until they see us.
I see
Aw.
Anna positioning us behind some trees, like we're children, and like she's trying to get us to take a photo, like a family photo. It's like, you guys stand here, face this way, and just stay there. Go there. You're
Yeah,
gonna
we'll
still be where I
we'll head
put you.
towards the.
You head toward those signatures, and as you get closer, you can see that there's a small river that you're coming up on, and it looks like they're in or around it. They correlate quite perfectly with how far away you think the river is.
Weird.
Probably guarding the river, because it's a pass.
Well, wait a minute, because her spell detects a variety of things, not just evil things. These could be like
You said
guardian.
Can she discern the things that she's sensing?
They feel pretty fiendish.
Okay, so these are not like happy water dragons.
For
This is-
guardians, no.
So they're politicians.
Right.
These are not water kami. This is something more sinister. So, okay.
Favored enemy, so I want to go look at them.
Are people creeping up ahead, or is it
I will.
banging pots?
I will. Please don't.
I've
bang
got
on.
my pots ready.
I'm gonna sneak a little bit ahead, not too far though, just a little bit, so I'm not like right in the middle of a clump of noisy dwarves.
Okay.
Sneak up with me.
Give me a
I will
perception.
sneak with her since that's
Both of you give me a perceptions, please.
perception. Okay, hold on. Un momento. Perception. Perception, not my bag.
Okay. Edwin, you can't tell quite what's going on up there. Enna, you see slithering in the mud on the near bank of the river two leathery white-skinned crocodiles.
Oh, can we? I guess it would be a retcon. Can we retcon that Golem sent with us
Sure.
in touch with the rest of the group? I will whisper to the spider what's happening so that Golem can tell everybody else that there's crocodiles waiting for Albin.
They're not like Godzilla crocodiles. They're like regular-sized crocodiles that look pretty much exactly like the ones that were barreling up through the rocks back in the good old days before everything went to hell.
Crocodiles.
Wasn't that the first game?
It was the first
I mean,
thing that
everything
happened in
always
the entire
technically-
game.
That was technically when things went to hell, so
Or when the hell
not
went
really
to things?
before.
Yeah, I was like,
You're pretty sure you could waste these things from this distance, Anna.
That sounds fun. I would like to shoot at one then.
Okay. You succeed. They're trivial. This is
Oh, okay.
walking up to the Pogo Kid at Earthbound when you have all 8 sanctuary locations. They just die.
We'll go. I want to skin them. That sounds like what? Demon albino crocodile skin? That sounds fun.
You have a nasty white albino crocodile skin. 2 of them.
Sobek.
Is your sense power still up, or do you have to
I have to
reiterate that
be. I
again?
have to be focusing on it. I'll do it again.
Okay. You see more, about 6 or 7 this time, also small, a couple in little pairs, a couple alone, in a kind of cone that becomes more dense, directly approaching Iron Mountain.
Okay, I will relay that. It sounds like they've just basically infested the area with demon animals.
Yeah, which is, they're getting
particularly
more
think-
concentrated the closer to the mountain. What if they're spreading outward? What if that hellscape is here?
Here yet, but it's probably a sort of infection situation where their garbage is affecting the local wildlife. I don't particularly think going on a pest control is effective, because unless we can take out the main issue, which is Iron Mountain, These all seem pretty small, not like a blazing pillar of fiendish energy or anything like that.
Right, you don't see any blazing pillars of Phineas energy. They,
Seem pretty
none of them look any scarier than what you just saw.
small.
And how far are we still from the mountain?
You're still a good couple days away.
I mean, that's a concern in and of itself, that you can go days from the mountain and it's starting to have an effect on the...
Right.
Thing our small group can solve by ourselves.
No, this is not a we do it.
It is your professional estimation that if the density of these creatures keeps increasing at any kind of consistent rate as you approach Iron Mountain, there will just be too many of them, even if they all suck.
No, I vote we head back to update the whole
Vote!
what's going on. I'm literally saying let's turn around. I'm not leading you any farther into demon animal territory. Here, have this skin. Crocodile, it's still got the top jaw attached. You like those, right? It'll go with your bear hat.
I make little hand puppets out of them.
I'm giving you one. I'm keeping one.
I call them Yappy and Snappy. It's sort of a Punch and Judy thing.
What a ridiculous one. Okay,
All right.
so we head back.
You guys walk back toward Dwarfheim. And way far overhead, about a week into your journey, you see a black-robed humanoid figure
Told you. God
jetting out toward the east.
damn it. He did this once. This is going to be his thing now until we kill him.
Busy.
Well, until we get the flak cannons up, I mean.
No, wait. We saw him. Hold on.
Gotta
What
do
is
this
the
about
range on
1
something? Check the range on something, because since we saw him... At what range did we see him?
Way, way up. Cruising altitude. Hundreds of feet.
Try and flank him down again. Worked pretty well last time. Better yet, I'll hide in the bushes with also Edwin, sneaky guy, and to bang his pots and pans.
Pots and
Like being
pans
bait,
are
right?
ready. Although I would have to put my Yappy and Snappy puppets down.
Want to yell insults at him? I bet he would like that.
I have Yappy and Snappy yell insults.
Like that, I mean,
Like,
not.
hey, your mother stinks. Hey, you drink gnomish beer.
Let's do that.
Oh. Hey, how far away is that guy?
Insults at him until he comes down.
Him.
Because we're not gonna.
Your father dishonored his clan.
Bred with a goat.
I'll say 400 feet in the air and
Your-
cruising
your-
past.
Your grandmother has a patchy beard.
So,
2 days after you see him flying eastbound, you see him again even farther away, flying westbound, with a couple of arrows sticking out of him. You look unsatisfied.
pleased that he is getting shot at.
I don't think
Is
this
he
guy's
going-
going to quit until we beat his ass. I mean,
Is he going
really
eastbound and
beat him.
down, John?
Oh, not yet. Just wait.
So we're coming straight away from Iron Mountain, and he's going. Does that mean he's coming towards us?
Yes, but he's still way up and way far away. You guys aren't flying on a perfect line that has been created by a protractor.
Let's alter our path a little bit for an intercept. If he comes down at all or is lower, I would like to shoot at him. The pots and pans insult yell. That lures him down.
Okay. Miranda, give me a... We're going to do D6 versus D6. On a match, he's close enough to be shot at. the next time he comes out, when you're only like a day away from Dwarfheim.
Okay.
It's been another week or so since you've seen him.
Push the button.
Oh!
Uh-oh.
Get your ass whooped! Alright, let's do this. He flies within 100 feet of your path. Anyone who could attack him from that range gets a free attack.
What?
Or you can bang pots and stuff and see what happens.
I bang pots and stuff because I don't have anything that can hit him at 100 feet.
Those
So magic
two shots are going to be after the pots. I want the pots to be first as a distraction, and then I'm
Okay.
gonna shoot at him.
Yeah,
I start making fun of his grandmother's beard.
I'd also
shoot
like
as
to be kind of hiding. Well, like I guess I'll roll that too. Hold on.
Level is.
Wait, are you guys using Bran as bait?
No.
We're not using Bran as
Because
bait.
that's a really good idea, and Bran is 100% down with it.
Of course, I'm using you as bait. That's what you're for. You're loud.
I do it!
You're loud. You're brash. You make
Hi.
noise in the
I smell bad.
Damn. John, he falls 100 feet. He gets no roll. He falls 100 feet.
What's your spell?
Dispel magic. Any third level or lower spell ends, no roll, and flies third level.
That's hilarious.
He only gets a roll on fourth level and higher spells.
For each spell of or higher on the target, make an ability check.
Yeah, choose one creature, object, or magical effect within range. Any spell of third level or lower on the target ends. For each spell of fourth level or higher on the target. make
Oh,
an
there's no
ability
of
check.
fourth level on Wikipedia entry. That's awkward.
Yep. So
Okay,
straight from the player's handbook, it's just done. There's no roll. He falls 100.
I understand. He falls. Calm your tits.
Hey,
All right, Miranda, roll your damage, please, and everyone declare what they were doing while he was in the air.
Shooting with firebolt.
Banging pots and pans and mocking his grandmother.
Okay, Ed, give me damage, please.
It's fire based, if that matters.
No, he doesn't have any crazy resistances. He has poison resilience, but I don't think any of you. That was one hit.
Okay.
I did not hear you ask how many hits that was. Takes a
Can you
shit
hear me
ton of
now?
damage from falling. Yes, I can.
Assume my arrow hits before it hits the ground, so I'm not going to
Yes.
make that second D8.
George, do you have anything you could hit?
No. The dispel is already in play. That
Did you cast the spell magic as well? Was that your action?
need to cast it also. It's pretty
wouldn't do any
unnecessary.
good. Mine wipes out everything third level and lower, so it includes his mage. His mage
See
armor
how
is
far
gone.
silence goes. For the sake of expedience, I'm going to say no. I don't think there's anything I can do.
Oh. He is caught wildly off guard. And for the next round's worth of time, you don't hear anything from him. He falls below the trees, and you guys have a turn. What's up?
I go to intercept him.
Okay.
We go to there
He is
to shoot him.
Oh, bless us.
about 90 feet away.
I run up to him and step
Yeah.
on his throat.
What's your move, Chad?
I run up to him and step on his throat.
What's your your attribute? How fast can you go? Can you clear that distance in a charge attack?
What's your move?
Over not
Move
a
is the
direct
throat
round.
step, John.
over not totally clear terrain.
It says speed 25 feet.
Okay. So you can get real close to him, but not
Yeah.
quite on him, even with the double.
Um,
Okay. You cover more than half the distance and screaming and yelling.
Mm-hmm.
We actually need to do initiative now, too, because the order in which you all act could have ramifications.
doesn't slow our group's travel. Right?
You're in wooded mountains, yeah.
Difficult terrain doesn't slow his move.
It doesn't slow his flow.
It's remarkable.
Tracking.
And it's reloadable.
Ooh,
Yes.
nice.
Golem hits the 21.
Initiative there.
We don't have to pay too tight attention because he's either going to get away or he's not. But which of you act before he does could have important ramifications. And it looks like it's going to be Edwin and Golem. And that's it? Yes, that is it.
Somebody web him or goo him to the ground.
Golem, you are up first. What is up?
Checking the range on person.
Hold person. Okay.
60 feet. And he said he's how far?
90.
He's 61 feet away.
I said 90 when you asked.
God, no.
Well, he's currently 90 because Golem, I think, can move
My effective
distance.
my
and then
effective range is
cast.
5 feet on hold person.
Your range is what?
Effective range is 25 feet move, 60-foot range on the.
Oh.
You're 5 feet short.
That sucks.
Kirsty.
Surely you have something else you can touch him with more than a 60-foot range.
Well, this is a family show, but since you asked.
Can your spider deliver a spell
Yeah, I can.
That's 60 as well.
through him?
You know, Ed, I'm going to let you push it. It is maximum range, so you have to suffer some manner of, if it's a saving throw, he gets advantage. If it's an attack roll, you get disadvantage, but you can try.
Oh God.
Let's see if there's something else, but if not, that's a fair deal.
I mean, I'm just thinking of. I can just shoot him easily. He's a wizard. Wisdom saving throw. I'll have advantage on that anyway. You know what? I'm just going to shoot him.
Okay.
So firebolting him again.
Okay, he does not have his mage armor. So you're probably going to hit unless you roll like a shit. Yeah, give me damage, please. Okay, very good. Hold on. I got to do some addition now. Okay. He took 22 damage falling. He took how many from arrow? 8. Okay. Okay, that does not kill him, but it's getting there. And he has to make his save against a DC of 10 to not botch the spell he's attempting to cast. He makes the save. Okay, Edwin. He is 90 feet away, and as I just let Ed, if you want to push it, if he's just out of your range, I will let you do it with disadvantage.
Being faster than him, no, I can actually close that range.
Okay.
I'm checking something to see if I can. If it's
This
possible.
one is probably for the marbles.
That's why I'm checking to see if something's doable. Sorry, one. Okay, here's what I'm doing. I'm moving 30 feet, so I'm taking a standard move. And
Okay.
I am then setting a reaction action, or ready action, if I see him casting a spell.
Explain how reaction actions work.
Okay, so
Because he's definitely casting a spell, and he has been since the end of the round.
So the way a ready action works is basically I can interrupt somebody else's turn if they trigger whatever I declare as the circumstance that would trigger my reaction.
What if they're already doing it?
If he's already doing it, then never mind. I'll just go straight to
Okay.
it.
Yeah,
So,
just do it.
I'll just
You,
burn
you
it.
can see him. He's definitely
Then I'm just going to dispel him mid-action.
okay.
Just shut him down again.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause I'm not going to get close enough to do anything else.
All right, you cast a spell magic, and he blinks out of existence in front of your eye.
If it's higher than 4th level, there is a roll.
He did not cast a status-altering effect on himself. He did the same thing he did last. He cast Dimension Door and poofed a couple hundred feet the other way.
That's
Give
still-
counterspell.
he still has to make the roll. If he's casting any spell, it's higher than 4th level, so he gets a save on it. But he still has
Okay.
to make a save to pull it off.
All right, that is fair. And what's your save DC?
That's what I'm checking right now, because it's based on the spell's level. You automatically okay. For each level, make an ability check using. Oh, it's the other way around. I make the save. So I actually have to try and override him. So I have a target of 10 plus the spell level. So Dimension Door. I actually attack the spell. So Dimension Door is level 4, so I have to get a 14.
Let me see this here. Choose any creature, object, magical effect, and
Yeah, my spellcasting ability in this case, of course, is Charisma, so I have to make a Charisma check and hit a DC 14.
I don't think that's how Dispel Magic works, but go for it. It works that way in this exact instance, even though he's not putting a status on himself. Hit your 14.
Okay, so let me make sure. Your spellcasting ability, that's the attack bonus, okay. Boom.
Nice, dead on the nose. Okay. He starts to jump dimensionally and just half of him goes up, half of him stays in place. And
Gross.
the top half falls back down to the ground, and it is incredibly disgusting.
I was
But,
just trying to stop him from doing it, not cut him in half, but
I know you were, but you hit it dead on the nose, and if you all got combat actions, he would have died. So
Is he dead or dying? Because if he's dead, oh well. If he's dying, we might be able to question him for a moment.
no, he's dead. You cut him in half.
Okay.
yeah, I don't think yeah. I know in previous versions of D&D what spells it would take to save him, and we don't have them.
Well. Oh well.
Let's go search his body for clues.
I have Yappy and Snappy make fun of him.
All right.
Gross pile of wizards.
His body has a. His
Half
spellbook
of
is
a
on him.
wand, half
Yes,
of a magic
half of a-
book, half of an amulet,
Oh,
half of a sword.
Question, Chad. Spellbook. 3 and 4 are it made it. Oh God. His spellbook is flying through the air gently on the wind of a failed teleportation spell. However, that's not all he had on him. You see a bandolier of potions. You'd have to go home to identify them all.
Take them.
And a glistening platinum circular talisman with a finely wrought insignia of Thrakgash, and the insignia is inlaid in adamantine.
Doesn't adamantium
Spot
hurt?
looks at. Yes, it does. Spot looks at it, and his hairs go up.
Hold on. Nobody touch that damn thing. Alvin, do you have the ability to remove a curse?
Curses. Remove curse. That, I think, is in my repertoire. If I could remove the kind of curse this would curse you with, but,
Just so you know, in this edition, George, remove curse, the spell works, but it doesn't, like, purify the item. It just makes it so that who's stuck holding it can put it down.
yeah,
Right, that's what I was going for.
that's typically...
Yeah.
Okay, that is within your cast level. I just checked. That is within the level spells you
You
can
beat
cast.
me to it.
Okay. Then-
Yeah, we can,
Alright, then here's what we're doing. I am going to take my rapier and use it to pick up that amulet by its chain. I am not touching it.
Okay.
And I'm going to take like a pouch or something,
You put it inside of a bag, inside of another bag.
put it inside of the bag, and then not directly touch the bag. George, or Alvin, whenever you are prepared to remove a curse, I will experiment with the item, but not until then.
yeah, I don't have that locked and loaded.
So until you have sought the ancestors' guidance on curses, I am not going to play with this item.
No. Yeah, I can, see what I'll get rid of for that.
Do you have anything else on them?
No.
I'm going to drop a handful of dirt on him and then suggest that we continue on to the hold.
Any way to recover his spellbook? Or is he gone forever?
You can. I'll let you pick up pages and try to put something together out of it. Give me a d20.
I'll help him look for pages.
All right.
Any modifiers to this?
Dexterity will work. You can take Anna's dexterity because she has the highest and she's helping.
What's your dexterity, Anna?
Dexterity is a +4.
Okay. Well, that's not a total botch. You are able to put together sufficient notes to have a scroll of Dimension Door. So you put that together.
Cool.
Stick it in your book.
You can see Cone of Cold, you can see Fireball, you can see Lightning Bolt, you can see Fly, but it's just fragments. The Dimension Door you put together with DNA from a frog. The others are too fragmentary.
When we resume walking, I'd like to
And
next to Evan
complete
be
the
like,
code.
did you mean to cut him in half? Because,
And fill the holes.
man,
No, I was just trying to stop him from teleporting away. I didn't realize what would happen if I stopped that in the middle. To be honest, that's the first time I've ever attempted that.
now we know what happens when you do that. That is
I mean-
future knowledge we have now.
It's not that I'm against him being dead, it's just that I had hoped for a more
Just graphic,
conventional
though.
death. I mean, him falling to his death face first was just, I mean, that's a certain degree
Would've
of
just been
amusing,
funny, though.
but leaving his entrails all over the forest, that's just creepy.
I'm not cleaning it up, though. That's an inside effect.
Well, isn't it your job?
That's
Like, aren't
awesome.
you guys keepers of the woods?
She threw dirt on him. What else do you want? I mean, I can go back there and relieve myself and turn it into mud if you'd like.
No, not shitting on his corpse.
I'm not a
moving.
druid, I'm a ranger.
Oh, I
He's
meant to
returned to
know.
the Earth, that's
nothing
far
about
enough.
your. I mean, like, doesn't it bother you? Like, won't that just keep you up at night?
Right? That a dead asshole is littering the mountainside?
Yeah, I mean, won't the forest? Like,
Well, no, his asshole isn't there.
Yeah, we don't know where his asshole is. I mean, he could be literally anywhere. May not
You
even
could
be
go
on this
home.
plane.
You could go home, and it could
Why
be
would that
sitting on your pillow.
Very
We just
odd.
don't know.
Or there could be a gold coin because the asshole fairy took it.
Yeah, no, why would that offend me? People and things die in the woods all the time. Life.
All right, you guys make it back to Dwarfheim, and the flechette weapons are looking beautiful.
Awesome.
The
Mhm.
32nd degree scrapes up toward Bran and says, "Ha ha!
Ah! Yes, sir.
If his pattern of attack returns, he'll be back here tomorrow. The upper cannon is ready. I can't wait."
I don't tell him anything. I said, "Good, yes, excellent."
I'm gonna check with the whoever's guarding the borders.
Maybe we
Who
should.
shot him last because that pleased me.
Maybe
Several
we
of
should
them
look
here.
at other defenses as well now, like walls and a gate.
Sounds great.
I
Not until I finish the lower gun. I told you we're not starting 10 projects at one time.
Oh.
This thing is a work of art. You'd appreciate that if you were 17th degree.
I decided to pursue a course in the military, sir. I'm sorry.
Grr.
can I
Waste of potential.
Oh, he thinks I have potential. Oh my god.
Compliment. That's the nicest thing he said to anyone ever.
I know.
I hate
He
to
must have
rem-
heard the exploits of my dam.
He has been here for a couple of days while we were out doing other things, so it might have gotten around by now.
Mhm.
I'm gonna
You
congratulate.
guys were gone for like a couple weeks.
Yeah.
What's that?
Can I borrow
When
the
I find
lot?
whoever shot him the last time we saw him, I'm gonna congratulate them and get them a beer next time we're in the.
A beer? A beer?
A
Or a
good
real
beer.
beer?
It's a crusty old dispossessed gunsmith dwarf from the foundry of the original Ironhold. And he graciously accepts your beer and drinks it in one swig.
Sent it
Alright.
back with a couple arrows in him. It was extremely amusing.
Can I borrow the lot of you?
For
For an experiment? That not on you, on me.
sure.
All
Should I
right.
get my bow ready?
Yes, you absolutely should.
I will then.
Okay, we're gonna go.
We don't have to shoot you, but
We're gonna go about 100 or 200 yards from the keep. Bran, take my dagger. I'm gonna sit down. I want you to hold that dagger to my throat. Anna, I want you to knock an arrow, and I want you to put it to my temple.
Brad's like, I can't hold it to your throat. I need a ladder.
No, I'm sitting down. I'm
Oh,
sitting
okay.
down. I'm sitting down. Hold that.
I will aim at you. But I'd rather. It's a long range weapon. I don't need to be that close, man.
Okay, that's fine. But have that squared up on my temple. All right, Alvin, be prepared to remove a curse. If he
Very
is not
prepared.
successful, then, and I do anything unusual, the two of you are to kill me.
Brad's like, okay.
Golem,
Can I propose something slightly lethal, so kind of permanent?
if
we
you
could
can
find-
Maybe.
lock me in place or anything less lethal, by all means do it. But if Alvin fails and Golem fails,
I've got, if we can find, scratch around 100 gold.
Do I have to use your dagger? Or can I bash your brains out with my warhammer?
that's fine too. It's
Oh, I give you, I test the dagger aside and take out my warhammer. Alright!
all right. John, I am
If
taking
we find
out.
100 gold of material components,
You need 100 gold. I can give you 100 gold.
yeah, let's do that.
You're taking out and touching it with your bearskin?
I'm actually putting it on.
Putting it on? Okay.
All right, and I gave
You
him
feel a
his 100 gold, so whatever it is.
wave of disorientation and nausea. And this very calm, soothing, gentle voice a moment later says, I don't recognize you. Please give this to Pele Kamos. He will know what to do.
I think he's dead. I don't know where to find him.
Ask him where his asshole is.
Very well. Dan, give me a wisdom save, please.
Okay.
This only he can hear, by the way.
Only Dan can hear it. Yeah, it's in Edwin's head.
Ooh, this is going to be
More discerning
catastrophic.
than talking to no one is
Yes.
suspicious behavior.
Also,
It's very unclear.
word to the out of character. Pele Kamos is Golem Ed's real name.
Oh,
if
I
you
know.
Didn't remember that. Okay, good.
Oh, I know.
All right. You feel another wave of disorientation, but nothing.
Oh, I thought
Bad happens
Okay, I
here.
did actually screw that up. Draken is his father. I thought Pelikamos was the
No.
father, not him. Never mind.
No, it's him.
Draken is the father. Okay, I actually have that note. I just misread it. Okay,
Okay.
so actually I
You
do know
said?
where he is. And
And
From-
after you feel that second wave of disorientation, but find your center again, it says again, I believe you are mistaken. I do not know where he is, but he lives.
You are correct. I am disoriented. I had him confused with his father. And from whom shall I tell him this gift comes?
A benefactor.
That's a title, not a name.
Yes.
Without a name, I won't give it to him.
Very well. I advise you to discard it. You may continue wearing it, but you won't be happy. Goodbye. It stops talking, and you don't feel disoriented anymore.
You take it off without.
Yeah,
assistance?
I take it off. Am I able to take it off?
Yeah, you can take it off.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
I
not.
take it off and I put it back in his pouch and I say, there was some. John, the voice, did it sound male, female?
Totally disembodied.
So there's no.
Androgynous.
Okay. There was a voice on the other end I was not able to identify and refused to identify itself that wanted me to give this to Golem. And I think that is an incredibly bad idea.
You know, I say no, that's a bad idea as well. I mean, we don't.
I don't
No,
participate in the
that's not-
conversation. I immediately remove curse you.
Good idea, just in case.
You don't feel the magic actually doing anything, but hey, measure
I
twice, right?
continue. I apologize. I'm just sterilizing our good human scholar.
No, and I appreciate that. I can't imagine that a disciple of Thrakash, I mean, even if we were curious about Golem's mother, I can't imagine he'd be wearing. And am I correct, John? You said that there is an emblem of Thrakash on this?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so this is not. We have no reason to believe this came from Mom. So, does Mom have a name? I'm sure she does. I just don't know it.
She does.
I, as the player, don't
Does
know.
Golem
Maybe I-
know it?
It is. Yeah, Golem, did you decide that? Because I have a name for her, but if you decided.
Well, I would know
Yeah.
Draken knew, because Draken hired me to deal with her, so I would know.
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it's Nerissa. Nerissa.
That's right.
Okay. So I don't think Nerissa would be using something of Thrakash's. So even if we were curious about Nerissa, I think this would be an extremely bad idea. I think it's best to keep
Doing
this
that.
item in isolation.
If you
and eventually
try and
dispose
give
of
it to him, I'm going to shoot you.
Oh, you should.
So-
You absolutely should. And if he tries to take it, you should shoot him.
I'm curious, but
It's a curiosity not worth saving.
Melt it down?
Or I can eventually, once we settle matters here, take this to a place of very powerful wizards who can surely break its magic permanently. They have skill that no one around us does. Well, except perhaps the one person we cut in half, but I don't think he'd have been helpful anyway.
But not.
You see that many, many more of Grodin's promised laborers have showed up in the several days that you were gone. They are moving on to building walls and gates now that the shut weapon is over. But they've also their B team has been sent to dig out more residences, and their C team has been sent to expand the mines, and they're going pretty quickly. All right.
Amulet, are there any other markings other than the emblem of Thrakash? Is there like anything engraved on it?
Give me your knowledge roll. Let me see what kind of sauce you can get.
Oh, nothing.
11's not 0.
Yeah,
Low roll,
I mean,
but
it
you have a
breaks
high
the-
modifier.
Yeah, it breaks the
Yeah.
10. And if it's infernal, I do read that.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm trying to think. What does an 11 get you? It's more than nothing, but less than the whole story.
An abyssal instead of infernal, I have that.
You can tell that this thing has been tampered with. That it's just a little bit off. And the biggest tell is the adamantine in. Straight up demon worshippers do not use adamantine. Adamantine kills them. You don't know exactly what this is, who was the saboteur and who was the sabotee.
Is it,
that's
from what I know of Arcana and Demonology and such, is it possible that Narissa did either create this or hijack it away from Thrakash?
Create, highly unlikely. Hijack, completely possible.
Okay. Because if she's subverting his followers to some end of her own, would make sense. Sounds much more succubus than sending somebody to blight us.
I completely buy that. I think
I'm
that's
not telling
what's
anyone
happening.
this. These are my internal thoughts. I am not speaking this aloud to
Yeah,
anyone.
that is a theory that is consistent with the evidence that everyone has seen so far, but he doesn't have enough evidence to convict on it.
Once again, I'm not sharing this theory with anyone. I'm going to leave the story at...
Someone or something that was not a Thrakashist tampered with this Thrakash pendant.
Okay.
You've also never handled a Thrakash pendant or a demon pendant of any kind that talks to you in your head. So
Well, I can't imagine I've handled too many at all.
right,
Isn't
and
my-
there was absolutely some kind of when you told that thing no, you felt your head spin, and you were able to hold on to wits, but you were blasted. All
Yeah,
right.
I'm going to leave that be for now. Sounds like I might be able to have an interesting conversation in there, but not at the moment.
You guys, there's one. Okay, with an 11, there's. You have withstood this thing's attempt to do whatever it attempted to do to you, and for a while, you're going to be immune to repeat attempts. That immunity will not last forever. If you're going to talk to this thing, you should do it now, or suffer the chances of potentially falling under whatever it is it was attempting to do to you when it gets to take another crack.
Are they-
Or never touch it ever again.
Are the other four wandering away, or are they lurking about?
What
It's up
did
to
you
them.
do? Did you just go to your room and think about stuff?
I'm not sure he even moved. He just took it off, put it back in a pouch, and is sitting there thinking.
Well, after you were okay, we probably started at least walking home.
Then, once they're out of sight, I'm going to put it back on.
I'm not
Nasty.
letting you out of sight when you're holding a demon pendant. That's just not a thing that's going to happen. So if you're waiting for us to not be looking at you, you're going to be waiting a long, long time.
Brandon's not looking at him. He got distracted.
By
There are
puppets.
shiny objects sometimes. Are you going to try and
Then
sneak?
if I see Anna still paying attention to me, then I'm going to motion her back. Put your arrow to my head again. I don't think I was speaking to Thrakash. I want to test a theory.
Try not to do anything stupider than what you are currently doing.
Oh, that ship has sailed, which is why you're my insurance.
Okay, you put it back on?
I put it back on.
Okay, you put it back on and there's no wave of disorientation again.
Narissa. Oh, Narissa.
It says, "Who are you?"
You may not know me, but I know you. I've been watching you and searching for you and stalking at your feet for years. You know the Draken regrets everything he did with you. Not exactly a good look for a succubus.
They all do.
Oh, eventually, but come on. He didn't even make it that far. You didn't spring a whole lot on him but a baby. And he loved the baby. Hardly a reason to suddenly despise you. Sounds like you're losing your touch. How many centuries have you been doing this?
Get to the point.
You want something from me that you can't do. You want me to hand something off to someone that I have actually been hired to keep from his demonic roots. Sell me.
Who do you hate more, Thrakgash or me? This will make your decision easy. If it's me, throw this thing into a river. If it's Thrakgash, give it to my son.
What if I don't like either of you?
Well, then you're in a tough situation.
Yeah, and here's your opportunity to convince me, because you want this for some reason. You may be trying to make it sound like I want this, but you went out of your way to do this. Awful lot of effort for you, especially Succubus that's losing her touch. So come on, sell me. You've got one opportunity to talk a fool into doing your dirty work for you. If I take this thing away, you're shut off for a really long time. Really want to wait for another door to open?
Thrakgash can make his golem army, but he can't that adamantium. There has to be an instrument that serves as an intermediary.
And what makes
Why do you think I had my son? I need something that's half dwarven and half demon to turn his machines against him and butcher him.
So we butcher Thrakash, then what do? Why do you care if Thrakash lives or dies? He's not bothering you.
He's not bothering me. Do you know anything of infernal politics? He's a menace. He's directly above me on the ladder. I hate him and I want to die. If I finish him, my affairs with your material plane will be over. I'll leave you in whatever peace you can have left. I just want the golems to tear Thrakgash apart. What do you care if I become the new Baroness of some corner of hell?
Make that pact with me right now. If Thrakash dies by anything I had a direct or indirect hand in, then you depart the material plane and never influence it in any way ever again for the sum of your existence, whether directly or indirectly through your own acts or through commands you give to followers or whatever bullshit you want to dream up. Your time on the material plane is done.
Agreed. Give it to my son.
I agree as well. Contract signed.
Ha. Hand it over.
I take the
Did
pendant.
you just make a deal with a demon for someone who's not present?
I made an if deal. So, yes and no. I said if. If. We take care of Thrakash. I take care of Thrakash, whether by direct or indirect means. And I offered no specifics on the means. Then she
You
departs the
purpose
material
for the
plane.
well-being of Golem in your deal with that demon.
No. Because of the fact that I never said Golem had to be involved. I only said me. Golem's not involved in my promise. I said if I do it,
Not anywhere near Golem.
if
I
I
do
take care of
it, I'll have-
Thrakash, whether directly or indirectly, then she departs the material plane and it's done. If I don't, things go on as they always have. It's the status quo.
Well, you've already made the deal. There's nothing that can be done about that. But keep in mind, if you give that amulet to Golem, hands.
Let's...
Anyone to a succubus.
I'm not suggesting we give it to him, but I just want you to keep something in mind. He's not a dwarf. At least not entirely. He is something else.
That's not for you to decide what that something else is going to be.
No,
That's
it's
for
not.
him to decide.
Precisely, I agree. I'm just
Have
stating,
this conversation.
and I'm not debating his fate. I'm just stating that is what he is.
Not really relevant, though. Giving him whatever he is to anyone.
And I realize you have no ability to bind me, but I will make a deal with you. I'll let you decide what happens to the amulet.
I don't want to decide what happens to the amulet. I'm just telling you, don't give it to Golem, or really anyone.
That's
It doesn't seem like a good thing to pass around.
Well, that's a decision. I keep it indefinitely as a decision. If that's what you want, then that's what I'll do.
Onto it. I'm gonna be super pleased with that particular decision, but I guess that's your problem.
Do you think we should even tell Golem?
His mother? Yeah, probably.
Well, let's go find him then. Let's tell him. You and I together.
Super pleased with that either. Alright, let's go.
Okay. The two of us go and find...
Rest of the group,
Yeah.
probably charging through the woods still.
To avoid the split group syndrome, we find them and they just so happen to all be together watching a puppet show with two dead alligators, wherever they are.
Very good. Agreed.
It's not the whole...
Blah, 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 blah.
I'm a demon monster.
Nappy and yappy. Blah, 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 blah. I'm still working on it.
Yeah,
Mushrooms. Hops. Mushrooms. Hops.
It's a morality play.
It is. We haven't got the moral down yet.
seeing the two approach a look at him, it's gone a while.
It's not a moral story. It's more of a shiitake.
Oh!
Oh.
You nerd.
Anna, I will...
No. You tell him what you did. You own up to what happened here.
Golem, I'm going to tell you something that's going to intrigue you, and it shouldn't. I was hired by your father to do a couple of tasks, and perhaps by my inability and perhaps by your doggedness, I have failed at all of them. Those tasks were to... You have a divided heritage, that's no secret. My job was to make sure that you were as close to one side as you could be while as far from the other as you could be. My job was to hide that side of you, to suppress it, to bury it away, and, should the opportunity present itself, make sure that you are forever cut off from your mother, whether through her destruction or some banishment of her spirit. I have given myself an opportunity to succeed at that last part. I have talked her into a deal by which she banishes herself. But it requires you selling your life into her service, at least for one act, maybe longer. Apparently Thrakgash has built an army of constructs, golems, like you, in name, not literally. But a construct of, or an army of constructs. But the material that it's made out of is anathemic, if not dangerous, to Thrakkash. And so, at the moment, he has no good way of controlling it. You can bridge that gap. You can take that army, you can turn it against Thrakkash and his minions. And with you at the head of it, you theoretically could destroy him. And if this happens, your mother progresses to his place in the chain of demonic command, and she is bound by pact with me to sever any impact, direct or indirect, on the prime material plane and all of its inhabitants and all of their affairs. And her story, as far as we're concerned, ends. However, I don't know what this does to you. You may end up a thrall forever in the service of the Samulet. You may end up being moved to a plane and being a thrall directly in her service, which really is not part of the deal that I made with her, because you'd no longer be part of the prime material plane. Whatever the case is, I have created a situation that I may regret, but at least for now, actually seems kind of fulfilling. I've taken a choice that your father gave to me, and I'm now giving it to you. You have to cut off one half of your heritage. Or you can let me keep the amulet and make no decision at all.
Deal was actually to get rid of Thrakkash so that your mother can move into his place. You don't actually have to do the demon army thing.
She's correct. I don't know that we stand any chance against Thrakkash without it, but if we find a way to get rid of Thrakkash permanently, then yes, the deal still works out the same. She takes his place, and she is gone from the material plane forever.
So, everyone, as I've been growing, I am. My heritage is. I'm just as much her son as I am Drakken's. I'm a fool. Wouldn't have it. I don't want that other gone. It is who I am. Your deal can't really work because indirectly my existence, my continued existence, even if it's by my emotion, choice and ideals. For me, the most important thing is family. Dwarf, the infernal being, wouldn't. I can't remember. Wouldn't.
Is he cutting out for everyone or just me?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
I'm catching like every third word in there.
Yeah, me too.
Ah, damn it. That was a good speech.
I got the gist of it, but I was missing a lot of critical parts.
Do it again from the top.
Okay.
All right. Growing up, everyone's wanted to keep me from my mother's side, keep me separate from what I am, and I can't. I am what I am, and I'm proud of that. I don't want to hide what I am for any reason. If she's contacted you to give me some kind of message, there's a reason for that. My father, well meaning as he may have been in hiring you to keep that from me, was wrong. But she can't control me because I control what I do. If this is an opportunity to destroy Thrakkash, we have to take it. But as far as your deal with her impacting the material, my actions will continue to impact that directly through her because I'm her son.
Once Thrakkash is dead, if you remain on the material plane, she will not be able to give you any command. She will not even be able to suggest a course of action to you. And I realize when you are caught between two worlds like this, there's an innate desire to want to harmonize that. There are stories like this in every culture I have encountered, whether it's people from a mixed high class, low class, or two races, or two guilds, or two warring factions. There's always a desire to harmonize that. I understand that. But in this situation, it doesn't work. I need you to understand that your mother is two things. One, she is evil to the core. She did not love your father, and she does not love you. She is twisted to the core, and she is also a manipulator, and an expert manipulator. You may have had decades learning how to resist manipulators. She has spent centuries, if not millennia, if not tens of millennia, learning to manipulate. If you take this on yourself, it may so happen, by some miracle of whatever gods that watch over us, if any, it may so happen that in this one situation, her goals and our goals, just by pure coincidence, happen to align. That what does good for her will also do good for us. But I want you to understand, and you have to understand, that is nothing more than coincidence. There is no decency to this creature. There is no compassion. There is no love. If you are trying to straddle the worlds, it's like a bridge that only connects to one shoreline. The other shoreline wants nothing of you. Nothing good, at any rate. If you're looking for family, find it here. I know your father's dead, but find it in some other fashion. She may have carried you to birth, but that is the only qualification she has as your mother.
When she left me with Draken, she left me with a letter. I've carried it with me my whole life. She may be a master manipulator, but she's still my mom.
No, she left you. She left you. She left you with Draken. She left Draken. And all that she left behind was two things: a letter and a plan for you to knock out the person above her on a climb to power. She even told me, in no uncertain terms, the only reason that she parented you at all was because she needed a hybrid to control that army, to knock out the person over her so she can climb the ladder of power. Your very existence is a manipulation of hers. Now, I'm not going to tell you not to take this amulet and fight Thrakgash. That's your decision. But I need you to go into this with open eyes. You are not going to find family. You are not going to find a loving mother. You are not going to find someone that has any decent interest in you on the other side. If there are people that care about you, they're right here, right now. There are people that you've already encountered, people you may yet encounter. But it's not a demon, and let's stress that, a demon that abandoned you and your father with nothing more than a letter and a plan. And even the fact that she seduced your father was part of a plan to climb that ladder. It was not an act of love for you or an act of love for this realm. The fact that Thrakgash is tearing apart whole societies means nothing to her. He is just in her way of being one step higher. If you want to take this amulet and command that army and kill Thrakgash, I will do nothing to stop you from taking it. But do it with your eyes open. Your idealism is wonderful. It's beautiful. It's the stuff that stories deserve. Here, it has no place where she is from, and it has no place in her heart or mind. She will see you as a successful choice, nothing more.
Thrakgash still has to pay.
If that's what you want out of this, we might be able to get that, and I will happily hand the amulet over to you if that's what your goal is.
He killed most of our clan. He took her home.
He did. He's evil. He's destructive. He's malevolent. He's ambitious. I agree. He has to die. But in the past 15 minutes, Enna has done more to protect you and be a mother to you than this thing ever has. I hold out the pouch. Closed, but I hold it out. It's your choice. I won't make it for you.
By doing this, I'm doing this to protect this family here. Protect our holdings. I'll
Then
put
take
it
the
on.
pouch. I'm not going to pull it back from you.
Golem places the chain with the talisman upon his neck. Snaps his head back. And in his head there's a soothing voice, quite similar to the one that spoke in Edwin's head, but explicitly feminine, perhaps maternal, perhaps feline. It's hard to tell.
The moment he puts it on, I say to him, sorry to interrupt, but the moment he puts it on, I say to him, whatever you're hearing right now is a lie.
And the voice inside Golem's head, as soon as he regains his senses, says, "Ah, my beloved son." And that is the end of Arc 1 Fire and Blood Dwarves. Good work, everybody.
Yay! Good game, John. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
John.
guys. This was a good game by all parties. I did not lead this one. I was all like planning the castle raid, siege of the town. I was like, oh man, they're not doing it. So I still had the flying wizard guy. He was in the script. So you took him down. And then it.
Well, we took him down by half.
Yes, he did. He was going to die to the flechette weapon if you didn't kill him right then. But I figured you got a chance. We can revisit this actual play when it's my next time to be the hitting GM next for you. But it was extremely satisfying to run it for each of these 5 fine players. This is our first effort at a Twitch game. I know it's not really our first or only actual play. We have Young and Holt and Skies of Glass going on now as well, which are both still going on. If you Fear the Boot listeners and Twitch viewers would like to... Sorry, go ahead, Dan.
I was just going to say, if anyone listening to this is on the Patreon at the $1 level, the Tastemaker level or whatever it's called, we're going to do some inventory of what games are possible or we're interested in running for the next game, and we will let you guys vote on what we play next. And I've got a few possibilities. Some of them I need to follow up on because they may involve people of interest from elsewhere in the gaming community. So I need to do some follow-ups to be sure. But be watching for that on the Patreon.
All right. Thank you for watching along, everybody. We will let you know as soon next arc. It will be another GM and probably another game, but our forums on feartheboot.com will have the info. So have a great Christmas and New Year and whatever, and we will see you in 2018.